Alright, so this is a round of 16 match between QueQueHq, the Zerg player, versus Nemesys, the Protoss player, on MLG Shakuras Plateau. Part of the Eternal Plague Open number 5, which so far has been a very efficiently run tournament. I want to throw that one out there. We got started immediately on time. So, spawning in the top left corner, we have Nemesys as the blue Protoss. And in the bottom right, we have QueQueHq, spawning as the kind of tealish Zerg. This map is really great for big macro plays. I'm kind of hoping that's what we see out of both players. It's also somewhat popular for Forge Fast expands out of Protoss, due to this somewhat easy to hold, or I should say very easy to hold, lower ramp. And here comes the first pylon from Nemesys. Standard timing. Doesn't look like he's going to go all the way down to his ramp. So we might see something interesting happen from Nemesys, some sort of early aggression, which is always fun to watch on Protoss versus Zerg. Especially on a large map such as Shakuras. And now we're just watching the Overlord slowly creep across the map, checking for the close-by air positions. Obviously on this map, you can't do close-by ground. Each player will literally have the half of the map to himself. QQ throwing down a quick extractor trick. Overlord's about to pop now. And there goes the spawning pool. So we have a 10 pool timing from QQ after an extractor trick. First gateway now going down for Nemesys. And Nemesys will be the first to know where his opponent is located. Then again, he already knows where his opponent is located based on the positioning and that he wasn't at the top of the map. And he'll see that the spawning pool is halfway done. This gives him the timing. Lets him know what it's safe for him to do. Nemesys is throwing down his extractor first, or his simulator rather. And early game, there's really not a whole lot to comment on these two players. Let's see what you've got coming down for Nemesys. A good wall off with the Cybernetics core. 6 Zerglings now in production for QQ. He did the extractor trick again to really save that money for those Overlords. And so we've got 6 very quick Zerglings coming out now. And this probe is obviously going to scout this. We have a Zealot now being chrono boosted out. Wants to save his ramp. These Zerglings might make it across the map in time. He knows where his opponent is. And right away we're seeing some pretty interesting aggression from QueQueHq. Third Overlord just now coming down. He's expanding behind the push. I really like this from the Zerg player. It's going to give him a great amount of early aggression and force Nemesys into some early units that he might have otherwise not wanted to make. It's forcing him to spend Chrono Boost on something other than his Warp Gate tech. However, the Zealot is out, and the Zealot's going to be able to hold this base quite easily against these 6 Zerglings. The probe is going to make it in. Probe is safe. And now Nemesys is... his gateway is getting picked on a little bit by the Zerglings. But now the Stalker's out, and he's going to force the Zerglings away. So a really interesting opening, evolving into not a whole lot of damage dealt to the Protoss player. Now we have a robotics facility going down for Nemesys. Probably hoping to go into some really fast Colossi play. Always a good deal against Zerg if you can get some quick Colossi out and he goes Hydra. Or if you can force Hydra and then get the Colossi going. Since Colossi deal so much damage to Hydra. Another thing Robotics Bay or Robotics Facility is good for is countering roach pushes. Although I don't know if QQ is going to go for a roach push. It looks like he's going for a more long-term macro-based play rather than going for early roaches. But still, roaches are the bane of early Protoss. They break walls so easily, so that first Immortal is still a good choice. And now QQ's second, his natural is up, building a spawn crawler for defense. He's got fairly good Overlord spread over here, checking for Warp Prism drops. Same thing over here, checking for Overlord drops. Stalker's actually on patrol, making sure that there's no Overlords going to come into the base from that side, or from this side. So Nemesys really wants to deny the scouting, and now there is a Warp Prism coming down with 2 more gates. So 3-gate Robo, Usually something you see against Protoss players, but it can work equally well against Zerg. Especially a Zerg who goes for a fast economic build like this. Spinecrawler just now finishing up. He should get plenty of warning from these overlords that this warp prism is incoming. He's got both watchtowers held. QQ really has a great view of the map right now. He has vision all the way up to both watchtowers, and he knows when any drop is coming. He's got Zerglings positioned to watch any units coming out of the base. Both players playing extremely safe so far. Here go the 3 more gas for QQ. Immortal almost done. I know I saw it. There it is. I know I saw the warp prism come out. So it looks like a Immortal duo stalker, and it's going to come in, going to get spotted by this overlord, of course. Go to the units tab. You can see he's got 6 Zerglings ready to intercept stuff like that, but they're spread all across the map. And he's got 4 more. He's got 2 more spine crawlers and a spore crawler coming down. So instead of diving straight into the base, the stalker's choosing instead to pick off an overlord. Doesn't even supply block his opponent, but it's a free 100 minerals, so might as well take what you can get, right? Now the warp prism pulling back. Creep spread starting to look really good for QQ. Observer coming out now. QQ is just playing really defensively, which I kind of like with the Zerg on this map. He's got 4 queens waiting to take down any air that might be coming his way, although he has seen the warp prism, so he knows there can't really be all that big of a Stargate push coming. Plus 1 attack now going down for the Zerg. I would not be surprised to see QQ try to transition into Mutiling. His lair is almost done. He's got 4 more spine crawlers in production. He is playing super defensively. Here comes this warp prism, trying to do a little bit more damage. I don't think it's actually going to succeed over here. It's already got 2, 3 spine crawlers against it, plus a bunch more coming down. The Immortal dropping down now. Stalker's already getting picked at. He might lose the Stalker. Yep, 1 Stalker goes down. The Immortal's going to get picked up and rescued. He does manage to get the... I couldn't tell if that was a cancel or just a kill on that spine crawler. But I don't think it was necessarily worth the Stalker. But now we see Nemesys' large Stalker Immortal army pushing out across the map. It's already scouted by the creep here. Or at least it shall be in a second as soon as it crosses. There it goes. Infestation Pit now going down for QQ. I really like that play. It looks like he's trying to get fast into Hive. So many spine crawlers though. I don't think QQ is going to lose this base that easily. Force fields keeping the lanes back, focusing down 1 spine crawler. The Immortals are trapped in the back, unable to do the massive damage to the buildings that they need to do, and Nemesys is forced to pull back again. Excellent defense by QQ. Still got a rather large army sitting outside of his door, but it doesn't look like he's going to be broken anytime soon. 2 more spine crawlers coming down to replace the 1 that was lost. And now Nemesys has nothing in the production tab. It looks like he wants to try to make this army work. And I don't know if it's necessarily going to work out for him. Here comes a Warp Prism ladder, which is really good. He catches the Zerg completely out of position. All of his defenses are towards the front, but he does have 5 queens and the ability to rapidly transplant those. Macro hatch is almost done now. And it looks like the Zerg is still going to hold this. All of the units for Protoss are now on the high ground with the exception of these 2 sentries, or the sentry and Immortal. And here we go, here comes the fight. QQ is now supply blocked. This is not as good as it was earlier. The Overlord sniping has finally started to pay off for Nemesys, and now he's got a rather large army sitting in QQ's base, with only 4 queens to really stop it. 3 infestors are on the way, pathogen glands almost done. 5 overlords in production to try to stop the supply block. Another stalker's coming up, picking off this extractor, killing a couple free drones. The queen's moving up to try to save, but the force field traps a queen. That queen goes down without a fight. That queen is going down too. Spine crawler trying to pick away at the army. Here come the infestors. Loses 1 for free. Good fungal growth, but I don't think it's going to be enough to save the army here. The last infestor is about to die. Spawning pool goes down. There's no more defensive units, and I think this is going to be a GG. The Zerg trying to expand up here, rescue himself a little bit from this big Protoss army. Stalkers and Immortals destroying the lair. He still has the infestation pit. The only unit he can build now is drones and infestors. And I don't think that's going to be enough to stop this rather large Stalker Immortal push. Macro hatch is falling under fire, pushing away the last infestor over here. And it goes down. No burrow, no units. Force field to stop absolutely nothing from coming. Overlord sniping now is kind of very close to supply block. And now these excellently placed spine crawlers possibly could hold this natural. He's completely lost his main. All of his unit producing structures are gone. He can build nothing but drones. I mean, there's the spawning pool going back down, but it's only a third of the way done. Now he's got Immortals and Sentries. There we go. QQ with the stab face. I think that's probably going to be GG. The two Infestors that spawned. Oh, is he going to get it? Yep. So QQ with the only one Infestor and 3 Zerglings to try to hold off against this massive army. I don't think it's going to be enough to hold. The Spine Crawler is trying to bleed. And there we go. He's warping in a couple more units. No, he's laddering down to the low ground. He's going to try to... Oh, I like this by Nemesys. He forced the reposition on all these Spine Crawlers, so now he's just going to walk right in the front door. And this Stalker, getting a little bit misrallied and dies for free. I honestly don't think QQ is going to be able to hold this off. He's expanding up here. So he does still have 3 bases, but he has no unit-producing structures. I mean, the spawning pool is back. He's trying to retech back up to Lair. The quick Infestor play might have done some magic if he could have held off that first push, but the Warp Prism Elevator was just an excellent idea by Nemesys. Showing off his skill, getting a little bit supply blocked as a pylon gets picked off. But it's no matter. Now all the Spine Crawlers are repositioning, wasting all of that hard work. I don't think it's going to matter though. Ooh, a waste of a fungal. That was a terrible misgo by QQ. Warp Prism's rallying up. And by now he's got to know he's on more than one base. Canceling that Spine Crawler, or the Creep Tumor. Don't think the cancel on the Creep Tumor is really going to play a huge factor in this game. And now Nemesys, now that he has this massive lead, is content to pull back a little bit. He's going to come up here. He's going to easily scout this 3rd and 4th. The 4th that currently only has a queen on it, no drones. There are no defenses up here. All of these drones are going to die for absolutely nothing. Yep, here they go, running straight into the army. Is even single one going to escape? Nope. Wait. Is it going to get away? There's only 2 left. Ah, 2 of them managed to escape with only a total of 26 hit points between the 2. But both of these bases are going to fall. There is nothing QQ can do about this. He has to just try to sit back, build up his natural now, which is really his main. The 3rd goes down. The 4th has only 3 workers at it. He's going to walk up there in a second to see it. And Nemesys with a commanding supply lead. 100 food to QQ's 30. Warp Prism picking up a couple of Immortals. Probably going to run around and more Spine Crawlers. I don't think that's what QQ needs to be building at this point. He has Roach Warren up, but the Immortal count is already 5. And so any small number of Roaches you're going to be able to get up, not going to do anything. And now the Immortal drop in the back, picking off the Roach Warren. This has got to be GG for QQ. It was well fought, well defended, but with he only has a quarter of his opponent's food. There's good fungal on that, almost killing off the Warp Prism, but he picks up both Immortals and gets away. This army is content to sit back and stop expansion. This expansion miraculously survived. He didn't walk up and scout it. And now he's warping in a couple more units. Meanwhile, back in his own home, he's fully expanded to the 2nd, building a couple more gateways. Now he's got a Void Ray coming. Nemesys is in complete and total control of this game. The Warp Prism's going to come up, try to make some magic happen. That was a huge fungal. But at this point, I think it was just a kind of a waste of energy. The army was too far away to really take any damage from it. Now he's got a couple Stalkers dancing around. Now he's trying to move Spine Crawlers up to the top, which is terrible. Because now this huge army is just going to walk right in the front door. Only half the defense is there to stop it. Guardian Shield going down. Warp Prism warping in units right on top. And there's a good game by QQ. Nemesys with the victory. Great game by both players.